Get ready.
One of the major superpowers a theme park has is the ability to drop you right in the middle of some of your favourite stories and adventures. For example, Disney and Universal have both delivered some of the best lands in the world. Lands that make guests forget reality and become immersed in their surroundings. Lands such as Disney Star Wars Galaxy's Edge and both of Universal's Wizarding World of Harry Potter lands are great examples of what can be done with the right amount of investment and creativity. In short, new theme park lands are always an exciting prospect. So in this video, we thought it'd be fun to speculate on 4 franchises that we think would make amazing theme park lands. Before we do though, we would kindly ask you to sub to the channel if you want us to keep making this type of content, as well as give the video a like as it really helps us out. Anyway, let's jump into the video and the first franchise we think would make an amazing land. Get ready. The Matrix. Theme park lands are supposed to be cool, and we can't think of many things cooler than The Matrix. This movie franchise is a modern day classic with Neo, Trinity, Morpheus and the rest of the gang having developed a cult following since the first movie was released in 1999. After its roaring success, 2 more movies were released in 2003 before an 18-year hiatus which saw Matrix Resurrection released in 2021. With so much hype around the latest installment of the franchise, we think it would be rude for a park not to capitalise on its popularity by building a Matrix themed land. Some viewers may have heard the rumours, but over the last few years, it's been said that Warner Bros. Have been planning to announce the construction of 2 brand new theme parks that would use a bunch of IP from their impressive portfolio. As you may have read, or guessed, the Matrix franchise was one piece of IP that was mentioned. It's hard to say if these rumours will actually convert into solid plans, but it's definitely an interesting prospect. If Warner Bros. Were to actually go ahead with these plans and build a Matrix themed land, we could only imagine what this would look like. The Matrix itself has a lot of layers, and the movies have consisted of so many different scenes that would all make great themed areas. In terms of attractions, again, this is pure speculation, but we think there's definitely an argument for dueling coasters, one red and one blue, if you get our drift. There's also a great opportunity to make possibly one of the best modern day dark rides the world has seen. Imagine how intense a dark ride through the Matrix would be, especially with Agent Smith hot on your heels the whole way. To sum up, the Matrix land would and should be incredible. Come on Warner Bros, give the people what they want. Minecraft. Surprisingly to us, when we were doing some research around cool franchises that weren't yet converted to theme park lands, Minecraft came up a lot. For viewers who've never heard of Minecraft, we'd be interested to hear what rock you've been hiding on for the last 5 to 10 years. All jokes aside, since its creation in 2011, Minecraft has grown to be one of, if not, the most popular computer games in the world. To put its popularity into context, it's thought that in 2021, the game had around 140 million active monthly players. As well as this, the franchise was acquired by Microsoft back in 2014, which in our opinion says a lot about its growth potential, as Microsoft is not the type of company to pay $2.5 billion for something unless it has massive potential. It's stated online that the objective of Minecraft is to build, explore, and most importantly, survive. The beauty of the game is that there is no set way to win. Players essentially need to figure out what the best strategy is in terms of how they use their resources and what they build with those resources to give themselves the best chance of success. It was rumoured that a Minecraft land would be coming to Epcot. However, these rumours seem to be just rumours, as we found it hard to find any credible sources that might indicate to us that there was any truth in this. Regardless, when we try to imagine what a Minecraft land might look like, we can't help but think of a mixture of Legoland and also Super Nintendo World at Universal Studios Japan. Legoland mostly comes to mind due to the blocky nature of its makeup, which would be similar to that of Minecraft, and then Super Nintendo Land, and specifically the Mario element, definitely gives off the same type of bright aesthetic that would be associated with Minecraft. When it comes to attractions, we're honestly not too sure of exactly what would work well here. Maybe some kind of simulator ride similar to Flight of Passage in Pandora would be cool, but it's hard to know for sure. Finally, one last thing parks should definitely take into account if they were to implement a Minecraft land is the amount of free exposure it would get from big YouTubers who literally built their channels on the back of the game. In fact, the second biggest YouTuber in the world, PewDiePie, is a massive Minecraft advocate who regularly live streams himself playing the game. Currently he has over 110 million subscribers, so one mention of the land in one of the videos could potentially reach millions of people without the park having to invest anything. Pokemon. Gotta catch 'em all, right? For anyone who was a kid in the late 90s and early 2000s, Pokemon was essentially life. The franchise captured the imaginations of people all over the world, with many children dreaming of growing up and following in the footsteps of their hero, Ash Ketchum, even though this was literally impossible. He was and still is pretty cool though, so who are we to crush anyone's dream? Although maybe not as popular as it once was, the Pokemon franchise is still well and truly going strong, and has so far exploited pretty much every revenue stream possible, such as its TV shows, movies, games, merch, etc. But one area it's yet to really dip its toes in is theme parks. With that being said, the operative word to be aware of here is yet. Universal Studios Japan announced that it has come to some kind of agreement with the Pokemon Company to start adding some elements of the franchise to its park. However, it's not yet known exactly what this will look like. Forgetting this news though, we would still love to see a full-on land dedicated to the franchise. It's probably quite apt that the first test of Pokemon in theme parks is going to be in Japan, as this is where the franchise originated. The recent addition of Super Nintendo Land could also open the door to a possible Pokemon Land themed around the classic Game Boy game. However, this again is pure speculation. As well as all the possibilities for some amazing theming and cool animatronics, we also think a Pokemon Land could house some pretty cool attractions. One potential attraction which springs to mind straight away is the variation of a dark shooter ride where instead the objective is to catch Pokemon. We're not exactly sure how this would work functionally, but think the concept would work really well. To sum it all up, Pokemon was a big part of a lot of people's lives at one stage or another, and would definitely make one of the most nostalgic theme park lands out there. Lord of the Rings. Last but definitely not least is a franchise that's been talked about a lot as a potential theme park land because, to be honest, from the outside looking in, it's an absolute no-brainer. Lord of the Rings is one of the biggest movie trilogies of all time. Based on the popular books by J.R.R. Tolkien, the first movie was released in 2001, with the others being released in the following 2 years. In the years that followed this, there was not much movement in terms of new content for the franchise. However, in September of 2022, a new Lord of the Rings series was launched on Amazon Prime, Lord of the Rings: The Rings of Power. This has been extremely well received, really pushing the franchise back into the limelight for the general public. With that being said, if there was ever a time to capitalise on creating a land based around the Lord of the Rings franchise, it's now while it's a trending topic. Many viewers may be aware that quite recently there was rumours circulating that Universal Orlando Resort were going to be the ones to take the plunge, and it was thought that a Lord of the Rings land would be one of the marquee lands for its incoming third gate, Epic Universe. If Universal were to pull the trigger on this, it would be interesting to see how they approach it. Lord of the Rings has the potential to be one of the best theme park lands ever, with possible recreations from scenes set around Middle-earth, the Shire and much more. But where there is potential to be great, there is also potential to make a complete mess of things. For this reason, we only ask that any park who's brave enough to take this on really takes their time and plans it properly. Oh, and maybe stick in a cool coaster or two. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out our video on what a Netflix theme park would look like on screen now. Let us know in the comments which franchise you think would make the best land, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already.